Imagine spending 2 weeks meticulously researching, drafting, and proofreading your final paper. You finally hit that submit button on Canvas, feeling proud. But 30 minutes later, your phone pings. It's an email from your professor saying a computer program flagged your work as 80% AI. Suddenly, your grade, your scholarship, and your reputation are on the line, all because of a percentage on a screen. Now imagine if that same program looked at the US Declaration of Independence and claimed it was written by a robot. This sounds like a glitch, but it's a reality in classrooms today. As AI becomes more common, the software used to catch it is becoming the new judge and jury of our academic careers. Today, I want to persuade you and SRC professors and administration staff that relying on AI detectors to issue automatic zeros is unfair. These tools are technically flawed. They pick on students based on how they think or where they were born, and they lack the transparency we deserve as students. Let's dive into why these programs aren't as smart as the companies claim. AI detectors don't actually read your paper like a human professor does. Instead, they look for two things: perplexity and burstiness. Perplexity is just a fancy word for how predictable your words are. If you write clearly and simply, the computer thinks you're an AI bot. This creates a massive wall for students who speak English as a second language. According to an article by Laird and Milmo published on July 10th, 2023, on the website for The Guardian, a Stanford study guide found that AI detectors mislabeled essays by non-native speakers as AI generated over 60% of the time, because international students often use very formal and clear sentence structures to be sure they are understood. The software flags them as robotic much more often than native English speakers. If you think that's bad, these programs can't even identify famous human history. According to a study by Habibzadeh published in 2023 in the Journal of Korean Medical Science, the popular tool GPT-0 had a 10% false positive rate. That means for every 100 students attending SRC who turn in a paper, 10 of us are getting wrongly accused of cheating. Please look at my first visual aid. This shows how the U.S. Constitution and Declaration of Independence often receive high AI scores. Why? Because 18th century formal language is very predictable to the computer. If the foundations of our country would be given a 0 by Turnitin, how can we trust it to grade our work? But there is a group that is hurt even more silently: neurodivergent students like myself. According to Sarah Eaton in a 2025 study published in the International Journal for Educational Integrity, neurodivergent students, such as those with autism and ADHD, often use highly structured and predictable prose that triggers algorithmic suspicion. My second visual aid shows that neurodivergent students face a risk of being flagged that is significantly higher than neurotypical students. Students with autism often rely on clear formulaic transitions to maintain clarity in their writing. To an AI detector, the structured thinking looks exactly like machine-generated text. Educational institutions like Spoon River are essentially punishing students for the way their brains normally process information by allowing professors to decide if they want to do a manual investigation prior to giving a 0 or just trust the fabulously and famously flawed AI detection software. Finally, we have to talk about fairness. In an article by Bogust, published on August 2nd, 2023, in the Chronicle of Higher Education, he argues that treating a software score as proof creates a guilty until proven innocent culture. Many teachers give automatic zeros without even talking to the student or looking at their rough drafts, and rely instead on even more AI detection software programs that are just as inaccurate as the original one they started with. In fact, running a student's work through multiple detection software programs increases the risk of false positives. Furthermore, these programs are black boxes. A report by Lazarus and Schwartz, published in 2023 by the Center for Democracy and Technology that these secret formulas shouldn't be used for big punishments in schools because they aren't If you are accused of cheating, you can't even see the evidence against you because the companies say the math is a corporate secret. In conclusion, we shouldn't let a secret formula be the only reason a student fails a class. Today, we've seen that these tools are biased against ESL students. They think the Declaration of Independence was written by a robot. They target neurodiverse writers like myself, and they take away our right to a fair and transparent manual investigation. Academic honesty is vital, but we shouldn't sacrifice fairness to get to it. I urge you to join me and advocate for a human-in-the-loop policy where no student is penalized without a manual review of their work. Let's make sure that a human conversation is what decides our grades, not an algorithm. Thank you.